Hi there, this is Tets of Tets Toys and Shenanigans, and I've just got a little review here of Fall of Cybertron Grimlock, who is a Voyager class toy. And while I was looking forward to this guy immensely and extremely overjoyed to see that Hasbro decided to make him specifically as a Voyager class as well, after finally having him in hand, I got to admit I am quite disappointed. And the disappointment starts on the box. So if you have a look here, badly written bio. That's kind of par for the course at the moment with Hasbro writing their bios, but have a look at those lovely pictures on the back of the box, and like I know that they quite obviously sex up the pictures a little bit for promotional images, but then it kind of really blows when you end up with something like this, and it's you know, got none of the, well, the general colours are the same, but he's totally not. It's like on a completely different scale almost. It's kind of, don't know, brown, I guess. Kind of like a beigey brown or something going on for his chest. That's supposed to be the gold parts. It's kind of meh. It's a little bit half-assed. And I think that sums up this toy quite nicely, really. Although it does have its good points, I will say. Now, let's have a look at them. For a start, as a robot, it's an impressive looking Voyager, from the front at the very least. He's got lots of nice kind of ambient sculpting in the places. He's got a lovely little Grimlocky chest piece going on there. Chest piece for the Autobot insignia. Nice light piping in the eyeballs. And because he's hollow from the back, which is like a major complaint I have, you can see right through here his kind of ribs light up quite easily with just a small bit in these pieces as well. He's very light, and one thing that really irritates me is toys that don't lock in, and as you can see his shoulders, they won't lock in at all, so every time you kind of play with them they'll wiggle around like seriously easily. Another thing that kind of annoys me about him is they've gone for the sort of cheap ratcheting where they stick the nubs on the joints. So you got these bits here on his knees, for example, and he's got these on his shoulders in here. If we can have a look, so you can just have a look in there, and you try and pull them out, which you have to do for transforming into dinosaur mode. And getting them out's okay, but actually getting them in requires a fair bit of force. And this is where the not locking of the back bits really gets annoying, because you end up having to essentially put your thumb in behind his shoulder and click him down, and it just feels so tight that you can... It wouldn't surprise me to see this piece of plastic in here, which is the one that kind of connects to the nubs. You can see that it's going to break eventually, so you're going to end up with flaccid Grimlocks running all over the place. And everybody knows that, you know, Grimlock doesn't like to be flaccid or something. But anyway, the robot mode's great. He's got good articulation in his elbows. He's got bicep swivels and wrist swivels and mid-thigh swivels. He's got knees and a little bit of kind of toe movement there, I guess. But, you know, all this has kind of helped. He's, by his lack of any weight, he's very light. And it's kind of a good thing, I guess, because it makes him incredibly posable, which I'll chuck in some pictures of for the robot mode. His sword, spot on to the game, maybe a bit smaller, but looks really, really nice. And much the same with the shield. He does have a kind of light piping gimmick, which comes through the dinosaur head in his back, and so there, and it lights up in the appropriate lighting conditions. It lights up the whole chest area here. And the way his chest light works is there's a little switch on the back of the dinosaur head, which will be the back of the dinosaur head, and you pull that and it lights up all that. Shines through his chest and lights up his Autobot symbol, his ribs, and a few buttons in his chest. Looks pretty cool. I quite like that. I saw that it had some sort of electronic gimmick, but I was rather hoping that it was a bit more impressive than just kind of shining light through as it does. I kind of assumed with this big bulky chest that there'd be electronics within here, and that kind of leads on to a bit more. General ambient sculpting and detail is very nice on him. You can see he's got all nice big chunky Grimlocky bits. I love the shoulders, they look fantastic there, and like nice bits of detail in this chest piece. Same with his neck as well, and the face looks pretty fantastic too. It's very good. I do like the sculpting. I mean, I just love this robot mode. It's just so fantastic. It looks much like the game, except for when you look at it from the back, which looks like that, and it just kind of looks a bit horrible. Another bit I also quite like is the fact that you got some sculpting in here. It's, you know, nice impressive touch, which I didn't really have to include, but I have done. And he's a good scale with Optimus as well, for the Fall of Cybertron Optimus anyway, which is pretty cool. I do like that. Yeah, so the robot mode, great articulation. Good articulation and good posing options, and aided by the fact that he weighs nothing, so you can actually really get his legs standing in some pretty dynamic posing with no problems. Zip. So you'll find that the robot mode poses well and holds the pose as well, but this is due to the lack of weight and the fact that it's hollow. It doesn't feel like a sturdy Voyager, and although the articulation is good, it's really let down by the cheap feeling plastic, the kind of lightness of the whole thing, and the fact that you can only really look at it from the front, because you look at it from the back and it just looks awful. And here we have Grimlock in his T-Rex mode, and it doesn't look too bad. It's very similar to the game version by the looks of things, although the tail is rather large, and you have a look at that, because that's his legs there, or his shins. And from this side it looks okay, you know. You've got fairly decent looking sculpting going on the place, and he's got nice sharp teeth, claws that are similar, legs that are similar. The thing that really annoys me though, hello, he's hollow on the inside. That's just horrible. That just looks awful from the bottom there. The other thing that kind of annoys me about this is to get his legs to kind of lock in place like this, you have to lock part of these nubs on his shoulders up in here, and that means you get no leg movement going, so you can't make him stomp. You can just have him stand, which I think is very horrible. I mean, he's got no movement in his hips, so you got a bit of knee movement there. Have him grazing on the grass, perhaps. I don't know, you know. So that's pretty much it. It's a very static action figure, inaction figure. Or you can do this and make him tap dance or something. So yeah, it's, you know, kind of awful really. It looks alright from the side, but that's it. Even though the tail is very heavy. I think if you're really after a Grimlock, you're probably much better off with your classics Grimlock, to be honest. This one's, I think this is a good toy because you can still have him stomping old monster or sleeking sort of this way T-Rex. But anyway, we're looking at this one for now. Yeah, so while it looks similar, it's very kind of disappointing. He does have his light gimmick, and you pull this little switch on the back here and opens up the Autobot symbol on his head, which is just the normal Autobot symbol, not the T-Rex one. That lights up for his flame, and his whole head lights up. If you actually have a close look on the inside of his gob, which would be a bit hard to do, you can kind of see in here it's got the kind of LED laser thing that they use for like the Prime toys. So if you've got the Energon drill or the wheeljack spaceship or whatever it's called, the jackhammer. And that has the laser. Oh, even the mech tech gimmicks actually. The Voyager-sized weapons for the Transformers Prime line with those stupid lights that never lock in. Just has one of them. So I guess it's kind of like, it's good in the fact that it keeps all the electronics concealed in his neck. So this is where everything is, and the extent of the lasers here. But they should have capitalized on that by giving him a bit of bulk in the chest here, I think. Or something. Or maybe another one? I don't know. It's just, this just looks so bad. It just looks horrible. And then the fact that you can't, you know, he's got no leg movements. And if you do unplug these and have them loose, then he's kind of a bit pigeon-toed and his legs are kind of point in. So we can get some going. So if you have it out like this, so you bend them all the way out and then shove it in, and you see his egg feet end up angled inwards. So it's a real shame, because I was really looking forward to this, well, you know, for obvious reasons, because it's Grimlock, and I don't care what Hasbro say, but dinosaur robots are cool. But this toy definitely isn't. But aside from that, if you're going to keep it in either robot mode or dinosaur mode, and in dinosaur mode I'd suggest looking at it from the top only, then it looks okay. It's got some nice sculpting. He looks very impervious to things that would want to kill him. Very solid, much like a tank. And definitely don't get whacked by that tail, although it's a lot thinner than what it is in the game, of course. So yeah, strongly suggest looking at him from the top, or keeping him in robot mode. His weapons for storage can just slide on here, and you got a couple of little nubs there on the handle, so you can stick them like that if you like, but you know, it just looks a bit silly. And once again, of course, whoops, scale wise he's not bad, but that stems from his robot mode being scaled reasonably well. A little bit of Megatron there for good luck, and sticking a Bruticus in the background. Oh, he just killed Optimus. Yay! So yeah, so there we go. Grimlock, yeah. It's a decent robot mode, but horribly made, to be honest. And yeah, kind of awful dinosaur mode, really. Well, decent articulation in robot mode. I really think that he's been a victim of cost cutting due to the fact that he has no bulk to him. The plastic is thin, he's very, very light, and it just feels very cheap, I think. I'm a little bit disappointed, so I'll definitely be keeping mine in robot mode. Another strange flaw I think that's in there is it a flaw? I'm not too sure. But there's one thing. Because the LED in his mouth is so strong, it almost looks like the plastic they used is way too thin to be able to sort of contain it all. So the moment you turn it on, you can immediately see the light flashing through the thin plastic, and it just kind of lets the figure down. And there's all these little bits here and there that just seem to crop up, and they all let the figure down in some way or another. And actually, while I'm at it, one thing that I found incredibly disappointing was down here. Look at his groin there. See, there's a nice big split there. So the only piece holding the sort of horrible beigey coloured part of this onto the rest of his body is this one little screw in here. And it doesn't seem to secure very well. I can't believe that. It's just like, come on, man, is that it? So I'm going to go see if I can tighten it up, but then you can see I squeeze it down here and it's opened up a little gap in here, and that's just horrible. Very disappointed. So I think My Grimlock will definitely be staying in robot mode, I think. It's disappointing. Very disappointing. Hasbro, you can do better than this. This is a half-assed Grimlock. It's a little bit embarrassing. Should have been so much better.